There we go. Stupid microphone sometimes. Alright, so let's try this again. So this is the Mono Red Steamkin. Hey everybody, this is Dust for Dusted on Gaming. We're back live streaming again. Had to get my microphone reset up. Anyways, thanks for viewing the channel. This is we're going to be streaming the Mono Red Steamkin list and the Mono Red Phoenix list that did well. One did well in the Open, one did well in the Classic. This is Aaron Sanford's Mono Red Steamkin list that took down the Modern Classic, so Arc-like Phoenix making its mark in Modern. Standard obviously has had the Phoenix decks running around. That also was taken down by an Is It Drake's deck, but that's not really anything new. Ross Merriam also took down the Open with his Is It version of the deck, but we're not going to be playing that today. We're going to be focusing on the Mono Red decks today. So the Steamkin deck is more of a kind of mid-range combo deck with standard staple Runaway Steamkin, providing you with a bunch of mana boosts, and then you have your your lightning bolts, your faithless lootings, But this deck is obviously more of a kind of a controlling deck with the bolts, the burst lightnings, the gut shots. You have a random surgical extraction to enable your phoenixes. So deck is very capable of getting phoenixes back once they're put in the graveyard. You have 2 Tormenting Voices, 4 Faithless Lootings, and then a Maximized Velocity to get your Phoenixes in the graveyard. You have risk factors in this list, so a lot of burn, a lot of cantrips. You're going to see a lot of your deck. Bedlam Reveler to kind of refuel. Runaway Steamkin to provide you with a bunch of mana. Soulscar Mage kind of indicates this is a little bit more of a controlling list rather than an aggressive list, because if you're running a purely aggressive list, you're going to more opt for Monster Swift Spear and the Haste rather than the -1/-1 abilities on Soulscar Mage. So that's an important note to look at. And Burst Lightning generally is played in a little bit more of controlling lists or tempo lists than actual combo lists. But this deck can certainly pile on a bunch of damage. Arc-like Phoenix and Bedlam Reveler, especially with Maximized Velocity, can do a lot of damage very quickly. But this is basically a Mono Red version of the various Phoenix decks we've played over the last couple of weeks, with the main difference between the two lists being building around Runaway Steamkin or being a little bit more aggressive with Monster Swift Spears and a little bit more spells. So that's mainly the list here. You're basically trying to get your Phoenixes in the graveyard, Runaway Steamkin in play, cantrip through a bunch of your decks, use Red Bedlam Reveler to refuel, and then burn your opponent out and kill them with like Soulscar Mages, Arc-like Phoenixes. Bedlam Revelers are 4/4 Runaway Steamkins. Sideboard, you're Mono Red, so your options are a little bit sketchy. Ravenous Traps are here for Dredge, primarily. Can also come against Hollow One, Storm, other Graveyard Daze decks. Dragon's Claws for the burn matchup. Shrine of Burning Rage helps you sidestep the graveyard hate against your own deck, because you are kind of vulnerable with both Bedlam Reveler and Arc-like Phoenix to graveyard hate. Same thing with Chandra, it's a pretty decent mid-range card. Anger of the Gods, pretty good against creature decks, especially opposing graveyard decks like Dredge. Blood Moon, I mean, you're a Mono Red deck, why not run a couple Blood Moons in your sideboard to randomly get people a couple copies of a Braid for any artifacts, or when you need an occasional spot removal, like a Lightning Strike-esque effect, and then Shattering Spree for any type of artifact decks that you see running around. Could also come in against decks you're afraid of, like Chalices along with the Abrades, which obviously there aren't too many Chalice decks in Modern at the moment, but never hurts to have an out to something like Ensnaring Bridge or Chalice. The other list we're going to be running is the Mono Red Phoenix list. As I said, this deck tends to be a little more aggressive, but you're seeing a lot of the same cards. Like you're seeing gut shots, you're seeing lava. This is the main difference. You're seeing like lava spikes and swift spears instead of like burst lightnings and Soulscar Mages. So this deck appears to be a little bit more aggressive slanted and a little bit more combo-y. You only have 12 creatures in this. You have the 4 Swift Spear, the 4 Arclight, the 4 Bedlam Reveler. This list is also running risk factor. Fiery Temper here to kind of burn your opponent out or burn their face. Full 4 Tormenting Voice, 4 full 4 Faithless Looting. This deck's obviously trying to turbo out their Arc-like Phoenixes along with the Gut Shots, the Manamorphoses, so can easily get back your Arc-like Phoenixes on turn 2 if you go like Manamorphose into 1 mana spell plus Gutshot, or Manamorphose into Manamorphose into whatever else. So, or you could go Manamorphose, Tormenting Voice, discard a Phoenix, play a Gutshot. There's a lot of ways to get back Phoenix even on quickly as turn 2. And Bedlam Reveler helps you refill. So, basically the deck is like whether it's a little more aggressive or a little more combo-y. I feel this Mono Red Phoenix version is a little more combo-y. The Runaway Steamkin that we're going to play first is a little bit more control-ish, mid-range-ish, but has the combo effect too. Sideboard kind of reflects those strategies a little bit too. This version has Hazoret to kind of sidestep the same way that the Shrine of Burning Rage sidesteps in the other version. Eidolon the Great Revel, which I think is a good inclusion against the various Storm, KCI decks and such, going to be a problem. 4 Tormod's Crypt is their version of Graveyard Hate as opposed to Ravenous Trap or Surgical Extraction. And then a couple copies of Dismember to deal with bigger creatures, a couple Shattering Sprees, and a couple of Abrades, because you need to be able to kill creatures, and you need to be able to kill artifacts sometimes. So, that said, let's hop into some just open play, get a feel for the deck. Since these are decks I have not played before, so I'm not going to hop into major things here. But, yeah, these decks look like a hoot. Have not had a chance to play the mono red versions yet. I've played with the Izzet versions in a couple different ways, so a little bit more familiar with the Izzet version. This hand's fine. I mean, we're not maybe one too many lands, but I think this hand's fine. Have a Runaway Steamkin on 2, Tormenting Voice into whatever on 3 if we happen to find a, whatchamacallit here. It's an Azorius deck, that'll allow us to double spell against them next turn. Maybe hit them with a 3/3. Say it's kind of hard to say if they're on Jeskai or if they're on whatchamacallit right now. Just gonna play Soulscar Mage. I don't want a Tormenting Voice right now. There's nothing we really truly want to pitch. That and they could counterspell us, which would be annoying. So. Considering Surgical Extraction there for a minute, but that's a little too cute probably. Trying to hit a Ironically, if we would have surgicaled their Flooded Strand, we would have actually gotten the land. Surgical that Path to Exile, see what they got going on in their hand. Spell Snare, search for his Canta. Unfortunately, we can't play this Tormenting Voice, so they're just gonna get it, which is annoying. So they're just miracles. Yeah, the main problem being, obviously, we can't play this Tormenting Voice into that Spell Snare, which is kind of obnoxious, because most decks aren't even running Spell Snare right now. So. Let's hold on to it in case we find like a Manamorphose or something and we can get them to go after the Manamorphose. I say, didn't they have a land in hand? Yep, holding up Spell Snare here. Doubt this is going to resolve, but we don't really care about these mountains anyway. Morning, Space Marine. How are you? It might be, but our opponent's in a pretty good position in this game. This is the Mono Red Steamkin list that won the SCG Classic yesterday. On some fronts I'm doing alright, on others I'm kind of frustrated right now. I got sick on Saturday night into yesterday, so I had to call off of work. How much does this cost? Way too much right now. So, I ended up, having to call off work on Saturday. So that means I will not be able to use, there's a Terminus, delightful. Well, we've already been kind of working on that, Alani. Opponent's tapping low for Jace. Elian, okay. Well, it sucks even worse because that was the call-off I was going to use to go to the RPTQ, because my work won't give me days off in December because I work in retail. So, I can't go to the, I can no longer go to the RPTQ, so, how much does this cost now? How many spells have we played this turn? 3? Use this to kill Jace. Alien, I'm not sure Burn needs to change all that much. And I think a lot of people were just screwing around with the Phoenix list this week. Yep, unsurprisingly set up a Terminus here. So, we're in some trouble this game, obviously. Especially since they have an active as Kanta going. What aggro types in particular? Because honestly, it varies by what you consider aggro too. See if they counter this. Probably not. They're really going to Cryptic Command that. That's kind of surprising. I don't really consider Hollow One and Vegevine, though. I don't consider them aggro decks. I consider them more graveyard-based aggro decks, which they're slightly different in how you attack them. Probably want Blood Moon in this matchup. Probably want Chandra. Probably want the Shrines. Probably cut Bedlam Reveler. Risk factor seems okay. Gut shot's not fantastic against them. I think in a Goldfish thing they're faster, but the part of the reason we're playing this is to learn what exactly these decks are up to. So maybe they're better, I'm not really sure. It's part of the reason we're playing. I think to set the bar extremely low, I think yeah, but see, the thing of Burn is Burn is always a power versus consistency thing. It's like Elves is a better deck than a lot of things simply because I don't know if they're Space Marine, I don't know if they're a fad yet. Only time will tell on that. Actually, do I want to jam the Steamkin here? I guess if they have Spell Snare, they have Spell Snare. See if they respect playing around Blood Moon or not here. They don't. Alright. Sure. Obviously, Blood Moon's not great against blue-white control, but in some circumstances it can slow them down. Alright, so they have access to their blue mana at least. Yep. Seriously? Wow. Why do you think he cheated, Space Marine? And what shop was that? Was that at your main shop, or was that at the Sharon shop? Uh, well, it could be cheated. It could be. Yeah, I know. I go to ICG, man. That's why I was asking. I'll have to pay attention next time I go. It's really kind of hard to say because like this deck has a lot of stuff that it's really hard to keep track of if you're playing in paper. No, I haven't been there in several weeks. I only usually go on Friday nights, and oh, they finally found the planes. That's unfortunate for us. Teferi? Teferi Tuck Blood Moon? That's cool. No, I don't usually go on nights when I work the next day. It's just too hard to be out till 9 or 10 at night or later. Whenever you have to be asleep the next morning. Yeah, rest in peace is obnoxious, but we weren't not expecting it in this matchup. See if they have a path here. Did you draw a path? You did not. Alright. Goodbye to Teferi. Of course, we draw both of the Bedlam Revelers that are in our deck. See, I thought I boarded out one. Chandra is a good one if it resolves. I'll be highly surprised if this resolves, though. Well, Rest in Peace is good against the... It's dead 2 cards in our hand, my man. Like, I mean, 2 of the cards in our hand were just dead. I mean, the only reason we won that game is Blood Moon. Like, our opponent probably should have tucked the Blood Moon, in all honesty. Because they probably had a Terminus stranded in their hand, would be my guess. Surgical's... I don't really think we need Surgical in this matchup. So anyways, I will not be taking part in the RPTQ locally, which sucks. What I'm going to do... what I am going to be doing instead is, Saturday night, there is an RPTQ on Magic Online, starting at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here. I'm going to play in that for a while, but there's a couple problems with that. Number one is I still have to go to work in the morning. Number two is the fact that would be a lot harder to do all in the Magic Online RPTQ. So I'm still going to be playing in an RPTQ. It's just my chances of success and even being able to finish are a lot lower. So is that a blind terminus, or did they... Huh. Yeah, that's just a blind terminus. So do I risk getting spell snared here? I think we'll play Manamorphose, see if we can... looks like they just auto-passed here. Probably want to go fetch your island or Plains friend. That was dumb luck. Not much, team. How are you doing? Put a little more ready for stuff today. Bedlam Reveler. Let's cast Tormenting Voice. Pitching. Probably Risk Factor here. Wow, it just resolved. Alright. This is our opponent's hand. So how much is Bedlam? Bedlam's currently 4 mana. So go ahead and... Do I just jam Chandra here? Feels like they've got to have like a... Yeah, kinda. This deck's a little more controlling. Do I even play that here? I don't think so. This is kind of like modern Big Red. The other version of the deck's a little more aggro-y. Uh-oh, they got Cryptic Command now. I'm just gonna pass here. Wait to see if they try to Cryptic bounce the something here. So Cleveland is Dude, Cleveland's in August for SCG. Oh, sorry, it's in April. Why did I have it written down as August? It's in April. Yeah, I need to update that. I can't read my own handwriting. I wrote down August, and they don't even have August schedule up. That's cool, team. What'd you buy? No, it's in April. I just re-looked it up. I was wrong. So anyways, I'll be playing the RPTQ online. Probably not do well and go to bed around 10. But I'll be recording the matches and posting them on YouTube. See what we're up against here. This hand seems reasonable. Double Bedlam Reveler, however, is not the greatest feeling in the world. Don't think we're gonna have Faithless Looting quite yet. Knight's Whisper, sure. Looks like we're in some style of mid-range battle. Play out Steamkin here. Ghost Quarter. Ghost Quarter. Ghost Quarter's funny. Obviously pitching Phoenix here. Play out Soulscar Mage this turn. Can't turn on Arc Light, unfortunately, this turn, so. Sure, I'll take a land. Wait, what? Alrighty then. These Bedlam Revelers are now terrible. Okay, played Faithless Looting, played Manamorphose, played Fiery Temper. Team, I should know who you are, but I'm drawing a blank right now. Is this Daniel? So I think Daniel's about one of the only ones that have popped into chat at all. They have another hunted. Banishing Light on what? The Phoenix? Sure. Gonna say, you're the only one from Sharon that usually pops into chat, so... So we have our opponent down to 4 life, so basically any of our burn spells kill them here. So another Hunted Horror. Eater of Days, wowzers. I've seen a deck similar to this. I think that's a Saffron Olive special. Good game, well played, friend. The mono red deck or what my opponent's playing? So we definitely want a Braids. Our opponent's playing Torpor Orb and Hushwing Gryff to enable their absurdly powerful creatures to come down. So the sad part is that I'm familiar with what my opponent's doing. So I'm gonna bring in a Braids to answer both Hushwing Gryff and Torpor Orb. Gonna go a little bit anti graveyard measures here. Yeah, it's Cotley could certainly see play. Bring in Chandra. I mean, obviously they have basics, but Blood Moon can get them a little bit. I think we cut like a risk factor. Surgical Extraction's not really necessary in this matchup, and then maybe one of the gut shots. The Phoenix back in, cut the other gut shot. Phoenix is just fine as a... Yeah. I just took the winning lists for now, Josh, but I appreciate the feedback. Sounds okay, sort of. We have Steamkin plus some things. I mean, I still have to look at Jerry T's list, and I still have to run Ross's latest list. But for today, I wanted to get a couple of the mono red decks that did well. I think it's fine in the sideboard, especially if you're trying to have spells that really would love to find one of our Braids right now. Well, if we can dodge our opponent having anything good this turn, we'll be good. Otherwise, I feel a feeling we're going to get Hunted Horde this turn. Yep. So if I can deal with this 7/7, then this Blood Moon will kind of take care of the rest. Blood Moon's just such a not fair card. I think Modern's a matchup gamble. I think Standard has a little bit more back and forth play to it. Another Torpor Orb, sure. I think we're just planning on using Steamkin here to block. Not like our opponent can play any removal spells except for Dismember. Obviously this gets blown up if they have Dismember, but, you know, can only do so much, right? Hey Josh, what was different about Jerry T's list than the ones that won? I didn't go back and rewatch like the deck tech after all these decks won this past weekend. Yeah, I don't know that Humans is in a fantastic place right now. At least in the Star City metas, because there was a lot of Jeskai and a lot of matchups that are just pretty rough for Humans. So, if I had to say one takeaway from this deck, I do kind of like the idea of a mono red mid-range deck in Standard. Maybe it's time to dig up a version of Issa's mono red mid-range list with some of these updates like Arclight Phoenix and stuff. Version of Death Shadow. Huh. Wait, what? Okay. So Scholar's going to get to take her Lightning Axe either way, so may as well get this rolling. The one that I'm playing, the links are down below in the description. This one is the Runaway red list. So what are the odds that we can hit a 1 mana or 0 mana spell off of this Morphos? Once we get done digging through this, once we get through this match, I'll go ahead and take a look. Because I gotta look through my YouTube things. Wow. This is gonna be a fun turn. This isn't even fair. So let me get this straight. I get to play a mono-red mid-range control list that just hit my opponent for 10 on turn 2. This list is stupid. Like, before I was just like, oh, this is a nice, dirtily fun, stupid deck. And then that turn I just like... Oh... Yes, yes it does, Mr. Simba and Alon. This is just... I think I like this deck better than the Is It one. I like the stupidity in this list is so much more fun. Like the Blood Moons just cheesing people, the random nonsense. I think I'm gonna like this version over the more aggressive version, but we'll see. Like, this is gonna be probably my last match with the with this version. That's just not even fair. Like, I just literally, you get to play Blood Moon, you get to like do the Hollow Unbroken thing with like 10 power in play. That's just not even fair. I don't think I need Surgical Extraction in this version. Well, not only that, see, the big problem with most of the Blood Moon decks, Alani, sorry, I'm double checking, Elian, sorry, is the problem with most of the mono red Blood Moon decks, is the mono red decks don't generally have a good clock. This deck has a good clock. Sure. So I don't know for sure, Mr. Simba, that it will be better or worse. I think Soulscar, see, the decks are trying to do, I think the decks are trying to do two different things. I think the Soulscar deck is, like, this one's trying to play a little bit more of a mid-range control game that has the burst ability, and I think the mono-red Is It deck, or the mono-red Phoenix deck, is more concerned about, we about to get, aw. They're gonna take our fun toys away. That's not fair. I have a feeling we're about to kiss our Blood Boon goodbye. Alright, Elian. Have a good lunch. You just have to take the Blood Moon here, right? Excuse me. They took Faithless Looting. Why? But, Dan, I don't think Steamkin would have been the right take there. Oh, that's why they don't care about Blood Moon. Sure. And they probably have answers to Steamkin anyway, so. Wait, what is going on with their deck? Yeah, I figured they have Devoted Druid in their thing. It's just what they showed us game one was kind of weird, so. 1, 2, 3. Walking Ballista? Sure. Really don't want me leaving a Runaway Steamkin on the battlefield, do they? Forge Tender's mildly obnoxious. Might cards like that might be a reason to have like a Dismember in the deck or something. This costs 1 red right now. So if we Tormenting Voice, get rid of Maximize Velocity. Draw Faithless Looting and Burst Lightning. I think we just pat. Well, go no attack here, but it's not gonna. Obviously, they're just gonna block, snap block. And this turn, we're hold up Burst Lightning. What do they need? Oh, Collected Company? Sure. And if they happen to hit the combo, they'll... Oh no, just Court of Calling. Interesting. Is this for Devoted Druid? A 6/7 Tarmogoyf. Well then. That's a big boy. So unfortunately, next turn we're gonna have to wait to flashback. Yeah, we're gonna have to wait until next turn to flashback anything significant here. So we can flashback looting, get rid of these two, bring back Arc Light, get rid of that and that. Use maximize velocity to bring back Arc Light. Just pass here. Land was a pretty good draw there. So I think I need 6 lands to do everything I want to do this turn. We're going to point both of these at the Tarmogoyf. Force our opponent to... It's been fun so far. See if they use the Forge Tender on this one. These Soulscar mages have been paying off quite nicely. Actually, I screwed up. I should have gotten rid of the Phoenix there. That was a slight misstep on my part. We should be attacking with a Phoenix here, too. The fun part is, this deck isn't even a graveyard deck. That's the scary part about it. Like, this deck can just play a regular, like, mid-range game, too. That's the really scary part about this deck. Like, I've never seen a mono-red mid-range deck in Modern do well. And this deck is definitely a mono-red mid-range deck. Opponent should be at 11 here, by the way. Yeah, I think Mage is better in this build, and I'm presuming Swift Spear is better in the other version of the deck. So I'm gonna play Arclight here. Well, but this deck is fundamentally different than a Prison deck. Like, this deck is more of a kind of aggro mid-range hybrid. I mean, that said, we could still die here. I mean, if our opponent has like an end of turn, Collected Company, or Chord of something into something here. Maybe, but I don't think this deck really cares about life gain as much as burn. I think this deck can deal damage in a lot bigger bursts, so I don't know that it cares that much. Maybe. Yeah, Phoenix has evasion, and with Soulscar Mage, you can pretty much kill any creature in the deck. So, another Knight of Autumn. Nope, Ronos. Yeah, we won the Miracles match. Opponent's got to use the Forge Tender here. Wait, they didn't use Forge Tender? Ricardo, that would be a better question to ask after we play the mono-red Phoenix deck, because the Phoenix deck's a little more aggressive. It's got Swift Spear, Lava Spike, and that kind of stuff. So it would probably be better to ask that question after we run the Phoenix deck next, because I think that deck is more aggressively slanted than this mono-red Steamkin deck. I think the Steamkin deck is more... this deck is more shifted towards stuffing the, like, being a mid-range deck that is also happens to have aggressive elements with that one, like that one draw we had with Arclight Phoenix and Soulscar Mage. I think the Phoenix deck is going to end up being more aggressive. So, I think my takeaway from this deck is I really like what's going on here. I think some of the details need worked out, like maybe with the sideboard and such. I think maybe having Eidolon. I suspect the combo matchups are the rough one for this version of the deck. I suspect you might want something like Eidolon in the sideboard, even though it hurts your strategy some. Just as a hedge for things like Storm, KCI, and that kind of stuff. But I could definitely see how this deck won a Classic. It seems very powerful and has some bunker draws. So, alright, that said, I'm going to flip out to the over to the other version of the deck. So go ahead and flip out the cards here. So, what did you guys think about this deck, this particular version of the deck so far? Seemed very powerful. Alright, Ricardo. Hopefully we'll have an answer to Tron Marvel. Could be interesting. Have you been, Dan, have you been following, Vince's channel as he's been, Oh, I agree. It definitely needs, more testing. But I definitely think, there's a reason it's putting up results. Ban Faithless Looting. Space Marine, you just want the mono white, the blue white control decks to be our miserable overlords. So, all right, Ricardo, have a good day, man. Have you been following his builds at all with, whatchamacallit? I honestly think like a mono green or, green blue would probably be the best way to go. I think the deck already ran, the deck was running, Anger of the Gods in the sideboard. Well, I don't know, Space Marine. We just beat blue-white. No, there is a mutual friend of Daniel's and I, Team Counter there, that, that streams over on Twitch. His name is Fortweezy. He usually streams, like, later in the evenings. But he's been tinkering around with a, Marvel deck for a good bit of the summer and into the fall every now and again. He actually got so tired of Mardu Pyromancer that he took the list to a PPTQ. Oh, Space Marine, you think every control player that's not you is a scrub? Alright, so this is the mono-red Swift Spear version of the deck. I'm going to put up the list so you guys can see it, but I'm going to run to the restroom quick, so see what you guys think of this list. But, yeah, I need to run to the restroom. Be right back. Alright, sorry about that. We're back. What's up, Sideboard? How you doing? Oh. Oh, wow. Oh, Space Marine. Morning, Sideboard. How you doing? Alright, let me look up that mono red list while I was thinking about it before we start getting rolling on these two. Got it. Like how it started streaming my own video voice for me. That sucks, man. There is Issa's mid-range list that we streamed a while ago. It's definitely more creature-based than spell-based, and it certainly had some interesting choices in it, but there was some interesting portions to the list. So, that was the list I was referring to. Alright, anyways, on to Mono Red Phoenix. So, we just played the Runaway Steam conversion. Steam conversion was obviously more mid-range control based. Oh, Space Marine. Sometimes I don't think there's a filtration unit between your mind and the keyboard. Yes, Isabel still pops in on occasion. Usually when you're not here, coincidentally. Usually she pops in the evenings when I'm streaming Control, I've noticed. She popped in during your one list, dude. Dude, she popped in watching when we were streaming the second part of your Blue White Miracles list. No, it goes back to part of an awkward exchange between Space Marine and Isabel. She has like a fox or something for her avatar, so he like asked her if she was a furry. Anyways, that's all I'm gonna get into that for those of you that are wondering what the heck chat was talking about. So this is the mono red Phoenix list. 4 Swift Spear, 4 Arclight Phoenix, 4 Bedlam Reveler. Deck has more of an aggressive tilt. You have Lava Spike, Lightning Bolt, Flame Jab, Gut Shot. A lot of the same cards as the other list. However, with Lava Spike and Swift Spear over Soulscar Mage, you're obviously trying to... Yeah, it was probably not something you wanted to do, sideboard. Yeah, that's a thing. And Hazoret here being a little bit more aggressive, along with Eidolon. This deck's obviously more slanted towards killing your opponent. 4 Tormod's Crypts for the graveyard decks, a couple copies of Dismember to help deal with the big creatures that the other version has. Soulscar Mage, a couple copies of a Braid for aggro or for artifact-based decks, also can come in as a lightning strike effect against smaller creatures. And then Shattering Sprees against any like Ensnaring Bridges, Chalice of the Voids, etc., which can be problematic for this deck. And with that, let's get into some gameplay. Space Marine. Sometimes you curveball this chat. Between you and Foz, I'm not sure who does more curveballs in chat. Alright, well we have one red source, but I guess we keep his hand. opponent know what's up. Are we playing the mirror match? That would be funny as heck. Yep, we're playing the mirror match. Or at least a version of the deck's mirror match. Hopefully we hit a land next turn. We really are playing the mirror match. That's funny. Aw, our opponent took our toy away. That's not fun. Bedlam Reveler, that'll be a nice play next turn. So sideboard, how's the standard streams been going? You given any more thought about which cards you want, or what deck you would want to try to qualify for the mocks for yet? Alright. Looks like we're in a racing situation. Oh, and they have Phoenix back. That's brutal. So we're going to 7 here. So Bedlam currently costs 1 red. So bolt this Phoenix. They have their own Bedlam this turn. Yep. Everybody got so quiet. And gut shot for the win. Alright. Well, what's what you were thinking, man? in some amount of Tormod's Crypts for the mirror match. You don't have to worry, they'll never be brought into Modern, so I didn't see a link, my man. I don't think links should be broken. Anyways, back to sideboarding. Gutshot's probably a little ambitious in this matchup normally. Cut a Bedlam Reveler or two here. Like a Bedlam Reveler and a Risk Factor. There's probably just two Bedlam Revelers. Bring in the Tormod's Crypts to attack our opponent's graveyard a little bit. I think they're usable sideboard, I just don't think they're very good. I think they're reasonable, but not if you want to win bigger events. The problem with Etherworks Marvel is you can't really set up anything before turn 4. And without interaction, you're just dead. So, I don't know if we can keep this hand. Like, I guess we keep it, but this is probably not a good hand. We might have more printed, but they would be a lot more nerfed down than the other ones. It depends on what you're trying to do, Space Marine. If you're just trying to have fun, the deck's perfectly fine. If you're trying to actively win, it's not that great. Go ahead and cast the Morphos. Hoping to find like a Faithless Looting or a Bolt here. So I guess we could Tormenting Voice pitching Phoenix here, but doesn't really accomplish a ton. Next turn we're probably just gonna have to Fiery Temper. I shouldn't have kept this hand. It was a terrible hand. I think that's Space Marine's nice way of saying the decks were too powerful. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so we're gonna have to Tormod's Crypt this turn cycle. Then our opponent will literally be on nothing. I think Kaladesh was too powerful in terms of the cards that were around it. I don't think they balanced the set well enough. Would be a good way of putting it. So we might get Arclight Phoenix to death. Faithless Looting was a good draw here. See if this prompts our opponent to... Alright, they don't, so sure. Yeah, I think I am. But we still have, what, another month plus before it gets released? Another Arclight, that's unfortunate. See if our opponent lets us draw cards, or if they just take the damage. Let's go ahead and go to attacks first, then flash it back. I didn't see that line to you. So maybe I was just too concentrating on whatever line I was taking there with killing the Phoenix. I was more interested in killing the Phoenix with the whatchamacallit there, because I think us being at such a low life total made us more vulnerable than trying to risk factor our opponent. But yeah, that could have been a good line. Space Marine, to be fair, Control already has quite a few good cards in Standard right now. Jeskai Control is quite viable. Teferi is still a very good card. It's just the mana base is so terrible for Esper and blue-white right now. What does this hand even do? I guess we keep it, but this hand just feels kind of terrible. Infect possibly? Morning, War Dog. How are you? Man, we got 10 people viewing this morning. It's highly unusual for a deck that's not Burn on the channel. Daniel, are you still in chat? Please tell me Daniel's still in chat. Shouldn't have kept this hand. This hand's too slow. We needed a discard effect of some kind. Yeah, just a friendly reminder, people, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing to help grow the channel. If you like what we're seeing, we play quite a bit of Modern here on the channel. Playing some Arc-like Phoenix decks here of late. We've also been playing some Burn, some Death Shadow, etc. Oh, this hand is terrible. We shouldn't have kept that hand. I knew the hand was terrible. To be fair, our opponent's not doing much either, but man, our hand is terrible. They let us draw cards. Cool, I think. Tormenting Voice. Now that's the kind of card I'm talking about. Unfortunately, we draw a bunch of lands, so can't even do anything this turn. Oh, this deck, man. Last round, that deck looked so good in this, yeah, I use OBS to stream on YouTube and Twitch both. I guess we just... Do we just move to discard and hope to draw, like, another spell next turn? I think we just move to discard here. Pitch the other Phoenix. Waiting for our opponent to drop a Marvel on us. If our opponent wasn't... If this was a normal game of Modern, we'd be dead by now. So, you know, practice rooms. Glorybringer? Sure. War Dog, the link's down below, bud. You know I don't use, whatchamacallit here. This is so terrible. When both you and your opponent's hands suck. That said, we could get like double Glorybringer here and like really feel bad for our lives. Oh, it's all good. Really feels like we are playing against Teamer Energy from last standard season. So this hand could be bonkers. Only took us till turn 6 to get there, though. Kill that. Can flaggerate. Uh... Here comes the phoenixes, here comes the phoenixes. So are you playing the more aggressive version or the more controlling version there, War Dog? Because the Ether Sphere Harvester when your deck can't be an Ether Sphere Harvester. We really are playing against Teamer mid-range from last frickin'... Sideboard, are you witnessing this? This is like a really bad standard flashback. Aggressive version, not virgin. I meant to say version, not virgin, if that's how it came out. Yeah, their mana base is expensive. The rest of their deck, not so much. Aggressive version, guys, not aggressive virgin. And I'm not... Oh, never mind. I'm not going to get baited into Space Marine there. All I have to say is screw you, Space Marine. So how's everyone doing today? Oh, wow. Presuming our opponent has a follow-up creature here. Yep, Servant in the Conduit. Wow, they really are playing, see what we draw off this Manamorphose. So we can still win this game depending on how they block here. Like if they block one of the Phoenixes instead of the Swift Spear here, we can actually win. So we'll give them the opportunity to make the wrong play. Sweet. No, block the arc light. Good. Good opponent. Yes, I'm having to double gut shot my own Phoenix to avoid them gaining life. That is correct. Oh well. Actually, I just screwed up there. I should have played another gut shot in response. So therefore, we lose this game. Alright, so we want a couple copies of Dismember here. A couple copies of Abrade. Probably the Hazarets. Down a couple Bedlam Revelers. Go down the risk factors. Probably a couple Lava Spikes. Yeah, Lava Spikes. Gut shots serve some purpose to get back our Phoenixes. It's really kind of hard to say Space Marine, because that was not a hand I probably should have kept. So, the deck looked like trash because I kept a very bad hand. And we still should have won if I wouldn't have misplayed there. I think this is a mulligan. This hand's a hand. Definitely need a land here. Yeah, but good results does not necessarily mean the deck's good. It just might mean a bunch of people are trying it. But if you look at our first match against the mirror match, the deck is definitely more aggressive than that last. The hand that I shouldn't have kept, would have indicated. Tune with Ether? Oh, Relic of Progenitus, sure. It's really hard to say if the deck's good or not. Like, we've had a couple of subpar hands, so Flame Jab. It tries to sidestep it. Like, there's a couple different versions you could take. You could play things like Young Pyromancer, Hazaret, etc. It's really hard to say, Space Marine. Like, the couple hands this match has been pretty terrible. And then we just can't beat a Bristling Hydra, so let's go to the next match. Yeah. I'd really hate to say it, though, War Dog. I think I prefer the Runaway Steamkin version of the deck, though. Because it doesn't feel like the Steamkin deck runs out of fuel quite as quickly. I don't know, maybe it's just the nature of how the decks are set up. Yeah, we're definitely keeping this hand. Like, the Steamkin deck felt like it was a little bit better at being resilient. I don't know. Definitely would need to test both builds a little bit more to have a better understanding of the decks, though. I don't know that Steamkin's the whole reason to play the deck Space Marine. I think Arclight's the reason the deck exists, not well, once this stream posts, you'll be able to go back and watch like 3 matches with the deck, and it seemed a little bit are we gonna get Path exiled here? We're seriously gonna get Path, aren't we? Who asked for the 3-of-a-kind Bedlam Reveler? There are two different styles of strategies, my man, though. Though I could definitely see Steamkin working. I don't really know. Like, it seems like it bites it to most removal, other than the fact that it comes back. Guess it's just the fact that it can come back and it's resilient. Our opponent's probably on some style of the combo version of Blue Light Control. The Unburial Rites Gifts Ungiven package. Yeah, I would agree with that assessment to you. Still costs 1 more mana than we have. So what are the mathematical odds that we draw all 4 Bedlam Revelers in the top 18 cards of our deck? Yeah, we've had a lot of awkward sequences of draws these last couple matches. Teferi, sure. So there is some sequence of draws that let us kill our opponent here. Please don't have mana leak. It's the Gifts Ungiven. It's the Gifts Ungiven Unburial Rites version. The Thirst for Knowledge is the dead giveaway. Either Elish Norn or Iona. Sometimes Wormcoil Engine, depending on the particular build. Go look up Reed Duke Blue-White Tron. And you'll understand basically what's... Go look up Reed Duke Blue-White Tron. And you'll learn basically what this deck's strategy is. Keeping in mind that that deck was created before Teferi was unleashed on the format. All this is going to do is make sure our opponent chumps blocks with their Univolt if they don't have another Path to Exile. Yep. I think we can safely move on to the next game. So we might want to bring in a couple copies of Tormod's Crypt of our own. And then Eidolon, maybe? I feel like Eidolon hurts us more than it hurts them, though. Screw it. We need more threats. Cut like a Bedlam Reveler or two. And then... bringing in the Tormod's Crypts simply because they are likely a Gifts Ungiven Unburial Rite strategy. So, hey War Dog, I think we just sent Space Marine off on a research project. Can't wait to see what comes out of that. For such an avid blue-white control aficionado, I thought he would have run across that deck by now. Alright, this hand seems fine. Our turn 1 could be, or our turn 2 could be quite insane, if they don't have Path to Exile. Alright, we get to have a really fun turn 2 here. I know, but sometimes even amongst a particular archetype it's fun to play something different on occasion. We just casually tend our opponent on turn whatever. Sure. Rest in peace. Good card. That's when this deck just looks so stupid. Wow. Just wow. We've had a couple games with these decks. It's just like, this deck is stupid. Like, stupid good. And then we have other hands where we just sit there and... this hand seems fine. It's not fantastic, but it's fine. Do we have anything we actively want to pitch here? I think the answer is yes. Okay, let's pitch a Faithless Looting and a Risk Factor, question mark? They have Rest in Peace, they have Rest in Peace. Suspect this will get countered. Nope. Alright, cool. You have a path. That's unfortunate. One, two, three, 4, 5. We really need to get this Eidolon off the board now. Yep, I'm fine with this exchange. See if this gets countered. Kind of shocked that it didn't there. Of course, that said, our new cards are still pretty bad. It's a lot of mountains. Past our opponent here. Hopefully your opponent doesn't have a path to exile here. Not sure why that took that long, but okay. Opponent going to 2. Another timely reinforcements? Nope. Okay. Too much mana to be a timely reinforcements, thank goodness. Teferi. Aw. Opponent took all of our fun toys away. No. So, how do I put this? So I think somewhere between these two lists is something that I'd be interested in playing. So, my thoughts on the Phoenix deck. The Phoenix deck is powerful, but inconsistent, it seems. Like, you have to know which hands to mulligan, which hands to keep. Obviously, we won 2 of those 3 matches. So the reason it doesn't convince me that Risk Factor is good in Burn is Risk Factor is a mid to long game card. Burn does not want to play a mid to long game. So I don't think Risk Factor is good in Burn unless you're facing a lot of Blue-White X control. And honestly, I think Firecraft is better in those matchups. I think Risk Factor is better in this deck because you're seeing a lot more cards and you have a lot more lands. Because of that, you have a lot more lands you want to turn into cannon fodder, so to speak. So, I don't know, like War Dog, I don't know how well I like this build of the deck. I think I prefer something closer to the Runaway Red deck. Maybe that's just the small sample size of the games we played. But I feel like this Steamkin, there is something to the Steamkin thing here. And the fact that you don't tend to run out of cards as quickly. So, but that's just it. Is Burn traditional Burn doesn't want to play a long game. It's not built to play a long game. These Arc-like red decks are playing Bedlam Reveler. They're designed to play a longer game and refill their hand. So I'm not saying Risk Factor isn't modern playable. I'm just saying it's not good in Burn. It's good in these style of decks. That they beat some of these mid-range and control decks by presenting wave after wave after wave of threats and stuff that has to be answered. Like, the decks are trying to execute two different game plans. Like, sometimes this deck has a combo finish and kills your opponent, like, it very well, but, see, look at this deck, Swift Spears, Arclights, Bedlam Revelers, versus this Runaway red deck isn't as much worried about speed. You have Soulscar Mage. You have Burst Lightning. This deck's trying to play more of a controlling mid-range game that still has the explosive Arclight into one-drop draws. I'm not going to argue with Zach Elsick on anything in terms of like which cards are better, but these two decks are fundamentally, in the cards they're displaying, Monastery Swift Spear and Lava Spike versus Soulscar Mage and Burst Lightning, they're fundamentally trying to play the same set of cards and execute two different strategies. Even look at the sideboards. Chandra, Anger of the Gods, Blood Moon versus Hazoret and Eidolon. You're fundamentally trying to play two different games. This deck, Hazoret's an aggressive card. Chandra and Anger of the Gods are a mid-range control deck. So, I like the idea of what the two decks are trying to do. I'm just not sure which version is better in terms of how they're approaching it. So, anywho, so quick wrap up. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Hit that like button if you like what we've been doing today. As far as what's going on in the future of the channel, I have a couple of things in the works right now. I'm going to still be playing a lot of Modern this week, on the off chance that I get to play in the RPTQ either by being able to switch with somebody at work or by playing in the Saturday night one. We'll see how that goes. But I'm going to get multiple 100 treasure chest things going with Grixis Shadow, Burn, and probably another deck or two. So we're going to be playing a lot of Modern the next couple weeks, especially since Standard's kind of winding down. There's not too many huge Standard events between now and the new year. Beyond that, I'm going to start trying to qualify for the mocks once I get a little bit more money and tickets under me, because the new qualifying started yesterday. Get out of here, Space Marine. Unfortunately, I live in reality, and I have to pay bills, so I can't just quit playing Magic. Or I could quit playing Magic, I just can't quit my job. So, you know, maybe if I was getting like 150, 200 viewers in this channel every day, and was getting, you know, a bunch of YouTube revenue, maybe I'd consider it, but I live in the reality of that I have a slow-growing YouTube channel, and Magic's a hobby. So, unfortunately, that's the reality I live in. I'd love to be able to quit my job and become a pro Magic player, but I have to deal in reality, unfortunately. So, anywho, I want to thank everybody for hanging out this afternoon, this morning, whatever it is, wherever you are. Hope everyone enjoyed. Well, here's the problem. The best thing of being a streamer is being yourself, and I'm myself on this stream. So, um, I can't be like anybody else. I can only be me. So, if you like that, I hope you subscribe to the channel. If you don't like that, I appreciate that, and I hope you find other people that fulfill your Magic the Gathering entertainment needs. So, but that's all I got for right now. I'll probably be back later, either streaming Burn or Humans. So, we'll be back for that later. But for right now, I gotta get up and moving, get some food in my system, get some errands taken care of, etc. So, hope everybody has a great day. Thanks for hanging out, Space Marine, War Dog, Elian, Tio, everybody else. So, I hope everybody has a great day, and hopefully we'll come back later when I'm streaming later. But this has been Dusk for Dusted on Gaming. Everybody have a great day.